Top 10 teams in all of Marvel Strike Force Winter of 2020 edition, guys. Where is your favorite team ranking this season? Well, we are counting down all of them in this video, guys. And if you're ready to see where your favorite team ranks, guys, you know what to do. Let's go smash it!
Alley flying.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? Valley Flying here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. We are doing a countdown today. We are counting down the top teams in all of Marvel Strike Force for winter of 2020. Yes. So last season we did this list, and there's been some changes. There's been some new teams added to the game. Some teams have gotten a little better in relation to the meta. Some teams have gotten a little worse in relation to the meta. So there's been a lot of movement on this list. Now, before we get into this season's list, I do want to give a shout out to everybody that watched this list from last season and gave this video a thumbs up. Very popular video. So we are at it again for winter of 2020, guys. Now, before we get into this list, I do want to give a shout out to some of the sponsors of this video. LootCakes, good program, guys. There is a link down below. Only a few more days to sign up for that. There's also a link for BlueStacks, my emulator of choice, guys. So how did I rate these teams? Well, pretty much the same as last season, guys, based on three main game modes: arena, war, and the raids. These are areas that I think teams really have that ability to shine and really show what they're made of. So if these teams do very good in these game modes, then they're going to be rated very highly on this list. Last month, Ultron got rated as his own team, and yes, he is still a very good team on his own, but I'm not going to rate him this month because there's other teams that I want to talk about. Plus, I think most people are aware that Ultron is a very good team on his own if you surround him with four other decent characters. So Ultron is not going to be rated this month, but keep in mind that he is a very good character. Plus, there are some honorable mentions that I will talk about later. There's a lot more than 10 good teams, guys. So I'm going to talk about the 10 good teams, but there's a few other teams that not really making that list that I do want to talk about because I think they do have some value.
Number 10.
All right, yeah, so coming in at number 10, surprise, guys, it is the Guardians. Now, this team was rated pretty highly last season, but because of some of the newer teams that came on the scene, because of some of the newer, harder content these guys struggle with a little bit, these guys got bumped down pretty significantly, but they are still a very good team. If you are running Ultimate 6, this is still my preferred team for Ultimate 6 because these guys can auto that mission. Now, there's a lot of good elements on this team. Rocket's still one of the best AoE damage dealers in the game, especially with that low cooldown. Thanos distributing energy, not that great of a character towards the end game, but very valuable in the early and mid game. Minerva, one of the staples on so many different teams. Fear the Darkness, she's still a very good staple in the Ultimate 7 raids. I know a lot of people use her. Some people still use Minerva in arena. So there's elements of this team just floating around many different game modes. And of course, Star-Lord. How can we not mention Star-Lord, one of the better characters in the game, and giving energy out, has a big AoE tag, blinding. Groot is also on this team, and Groot does a lot of good stuff as well. So a lot of good stuff from this team, and very good in the raids. And I think most people nowadays are using this team on war defense. You can still kind of get around this team with a lot of different teams, but they're still a very tricky team to face. And if you screw up, these guys can eat you alive. So Guardians, BKT, very good team, but coming in at number 10 this month, guys.
Number 9.
That's coming in at number 9 this month. Power Armor. Yes, very good team, and they were designed to be a war offense team. Still, almost a year later, still very viable in war offense. There's some counters that have recently come out that Power Armor doesn't do as well up against, but most teams, this team will punch up very significantly on war, and they do very good. Now, the reason that they got bumped up a little bit from last season is because two main characters on this team, they are floating around many game modes. I see a lot of Falcon in arena. I see a lot of Vision in arena, and I see these two characters on rotation for Ultimate 7 a lot. So two very viable characters from Power Armor in many game modes, and then you take the original purpose on War Offense does very good. I think this is a great team, especially those two characters, Falcon and Vision. Versatile, many game modes that could fit into a lot of different teams, but their original team, in my opinion, you guys might not agree on the Vision, but Power Armor is where they belong, and they are a very good team in the game right now, making a difference in a few different game modes. So Power Armor coming in for my number 9 team this season, guys.
Number 8.
All right, and coming in at number 8, let's talk about Supernatural, because this is a very good team, one of the more fun teams in my opinion to play with. But they're still suffering from that same problem that they did last season. 2 of their more important characters are not farmable. Now, we got the core 3, Doctor Strange, Mordo, Scarlet Witch, very farmable. And if you've been playing this game for a while, you probably have these characters at 7 gold stars already. But the 2 characters that you need for damage, that you want to have that high gold stars, that you want to be fully leveled up and built up, Ghost Rider, Elsa, not farmable at this time. So you're kind of struggling with the damage on this team. And if those characters were farmable and you could build them up, this team probably would be rated higher than it is right now. But as it stands, Supernatural, still a very good team, rated at number 8. This guy's very good on War Offense. They can counter a lot of the meta teams out there. Some of the Asgardians, these guys are supposedly able to counter them. Haven't done it firsthand myself, but yeah, Supernatural. People are saying that they can counter Asgardians and some of the more tougher meta teams on War Defense. So Supernatural, very good for War Offense. They're also very good in the raids too. There's some nodes on some of these Greek raids that I use just the Supernatural. Put this thing on full auto, and these guys are able to clear it even with that lacking of damage from Ghost Rider and Elsa. And I'm very curious to see how strong this team is going to be once we could build those 2 characters up. But as it stands right now, 8 I think is the perfect place for them. Let me know what you guys think of this rating, guys.
Number 7.
All right, and coming in at number 7, very good team, guys. It is AIM. Yes, these guys are so tricky with all the debuffs they have flying around the place, flipping the current debuffs on their team, and just some huge damage numbers that some of these characters can put up. This is a very tricky team to go up against and a very fun team to use if you guys are using them. Now, I've seen them on War Offense. I've seen them on War Defense. I've seen a lot of people using a hybrid AIM team with Ultron to take out the Asgardians. So still very viable on War Offense against one of the meta teams. So very good. I've also seen this team used on War Defense, and they're tricky to get around there. I think they're a little better on War Offense, but War Defense would not be the worst place to use these guys either. Also very good in the raids because of that sustainability that Scientist Supreme gives. This team is a good raid team for some of that health that they can distribute, and some of the characters, especially Scientist Supreme, very good in Ultimate 7. I've seen some people using Graviton as well. So a lot of different elements of this team in many game modes. So yes, very good team. AIM, invest in them, guys. They're good.
Number 6.
Yes, and coming in at number 6, one of the best teams in the game for a long time, Shield. Now, they kind of fell off, but they got a little bit of a boost when Coulson came to the game and made this the top War Defense team at the time. Now, they're still a very tricky War Defense team, but I don't know if they're the top War Defense team, but they are still very good and do deserve this number 6 spot. Now, I'm still using the base Shield team, the original Shield minions with Nick Fury in the raids, in the Greek raids. Some of the earlier nodes, they have a lot of Shield nodes, so I'm still using that Shield team in the raids. Don't see a lot of this team in arena right now. That would be their big weakness. There's no real, I don't see Fury a lot. I don't see Coulson a lot. I don't see a lot of any other of the Shield members in arena, but very good on War Defense and pretty good in the raids. And because they are so good on War Defense, that is primarily why they got this high rating. But very versatile, still one of those jack of all trades teams, guys. And if you're in an early game, you probably are still using these guys in arena a lot. So Shield, very good team, not as strong as they were probably about a year ago, but very strong and definitely worth your investment at some time.
Number 5.
All right, and coming in at number 5, it's actually not one, but 2 teams. And the reason I combine these teams, they have a lot of synergy with each other, but they're not complete teams. So I'm combining them this season, guys. Brotherhood and Marauders. The Brotherhood, if you take out Mystique and Sabretooth from that team, there's only 3 Brotherhood members right now, so not a complete team at any rate. So what I'm doing with that team, I'm putting Venom and Carnage in there. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Spider-Verse, but still a very good team with that original Brotherhood team. And the Marauders team, not a complete team either. Even with Mystique and Sabretooth, Strife, Mr. Sinister just does not make a full team. So I'm using Merc Riot Guard. I've also used Kingpin in that team. A lot of different ways to complete the team. But this team, when you combine both of these teams, they are all over the place. Now, I think the core element, if you want to combine these teams, is going to be Magneto, Juggernaut, and Mr. Sinister. And those last 2 spots kind of very dependent on who you're facing. So Pyro goes very well in there, Sabretooth goes very well in there, and Mystique goes very well in there, depending on who your opponent is. Now, this team, you see the Marauders, the version of this team on war defense, very strong. The only problem I would say with that team on war defense, Mr. Sinister doesn't always clone the right person. So sometimes that team is super hard to face, and sometimes they're super easy, depending on what the RNG does with Mr. Sinister and who the AI decides to clone. So that's what makes this team a tricky or not tricky war defense team. But on war offense, the original Brotherhood, these guys can take out some good teams. They've taken out S.H.I.E.L.D. before when you use that original Brotherhood team. So very good. And I still see elements of these guys in Arena as well. Mr. Sinister, I see this guy all over the place in Arena. I know I'm still using Brotherhood on a few of those raid nodes, especially in those Greek raids. And when I just need something for that last few characters on Ultimate 7, I'll bring in a Brotherhood and just smash that node. So a lot of this team floating around the place. I know it's kind of 2 teams, but neither of these teams are complete. So that is where I'm rating them. I think they're a very strong team. They are counterable, but yeah, these guys are very strong. So this is where they're coming in this month for me, guys.
Number 4.
All right, and coming in at number 4, how appropriate. It is the Fantastic Four, recently farmable. Well, not all of them. Mr. Fantastic should be farmable later this week, though. And this is a good team. They're built to be one of the best war offense teams. Still, one of the best war offense teams with Namor as that 5th. Now, there was rumors that there would be a 5th character to make them viable in raids and another 5th character make them viable in Arena. That has not happened yet, but these guys will be shooting up those ranks if that ever does happen. Right now, though, they are one of the killers on war offense, capable of some huge punch-ups, but Invisible Woman, one of the most important elements of this team, is in many game modes. I see her in a lot of arena defense teams. That is one of the characters that is really important if you're trying for that timeout for your opponent. You know, there's some teams that is just designed to kill your opponent when they attack you. Some is designed as a counter, and some is designed just to stay on the field and time out and get a victory that way. With Invisible Woman's barrier, if she's built up enough, that's usually why that happens. Invisible Woman, I'm also using her in Ultimate 7 every single day, and I don't think that the rest of that Fantastic Four will be too viable in some of these other game modes. Maybe viable in raids if they get some healer, or if you pair them with some other 5th as their healer, maybe like a Shuri or something. But right now, they're just a very good team, well-rounded, viable in a few other game modes, but really missing that healer to make them that ultimate raid team. So very good, and yeah, they do very well. A lot of synergy, and I expect to see a lot more of this team floating around now that they are fully farmable.
Number 3.
All right, and coming in at number 3, very good team, guys. I wasn't sure if I should rate this team number 1, 2, or 3. I rated them at number 3. They are the Inhumans. They're a very solid team, very good on war offense, and capable of some very big punch-ups against some meta teams as well. I know I just punched up with my Inhumans against the Fury Coulson team on war defense. So these guys very capable, even at their low star levels for most of the team. And that's kind of why I rated them at number 3. Right now, can't really build them up. Most people are missing 4 important members of the team: Crystal, Karnak, Yo-Yo, and Black Bolt. So not really a good way to test these guys out firsthand in war, but these guys, from what I've seen, I have no doubt that these guys are at least at number 3 in the top 10 teams. Maybe even higher if we could get some stars on them and build their power up, but very, very good counters. Now, they're also viable in other game modes. I know some people are using Black Bolt and Yo-Yo in the raids right now with some very good success. I haven't tried it with success too much, but from the lower, easier stages that I have used, they do work very well. Other place that I see these guys a lot is Arena, particularly Black Bolt. Not too much Yo-Yo yet, but I think Yo-Yo may be a person there that will be showing up more often once you can start to farm some gold stars for her. And Karnak with his big ultimate, that may be a person that plays into the Arena meta as well, maybe on offense, maybe, but you would need to combine him with Black Bolt. But as of now, I have no problem rating these guys at number 3 with the asterisk that they could be rated even higher if we had some way to build these characters. But yeah, Inhumans, very, very good guys. As soon as you're able to get some stars for these guys and build these guys up, I highly recommend it because they are a very, very good team.
Number 2.
All right, and coming in at number 2, very good team, guys. And this team is another team that was very capable of being that number 1 team, but I decided to put them at number 2 for a few reasons, and I will explain that once I get to the number 1 team. But coming in at number 2 this season is the Asgardians. Very, very strong team. In my opinion, the best war defense team. These guys are so hard to counter. Oh my goodness, the barrage that you're getting with Loki and Hela in the beginning. All those Gregs, oh my goodness, this team is so annoying when you're going against them and so fun when you're using them. So where does this team shine? Obviously war defense. Very hard to get around them. I've not successfully done a lot of punch ups in one shot yet. I've done 2 shots. Yeah, I've done some 3 shots. I've even done some 4 shots on this team. This is a tough team, guys, especially if most of your teams are in that 200, 250 range and you're going up against a 400 plus Asgardians. It's going to take a lot of shots. Yeah. So a very strong team, and they have some viability outside of that war defense as well. I've seen Hela being used very successfully in Ultima 7. I've seen Hela being used very successfully in Arena on offense and on defense. Very tricky stuff she does with her opening move, guys. We can't forget Greg. Greg is what really ties this thing together. And I think my favorite character of this team, maybe not the best character of this team, but my favorite character on this team is Thor. I love his passive, just retaliating with an AoE attack every time these guys get hit too much. So it is probably my favorite move in the game right now. I love that big AoE just automatically going off. So fun, guys. And yes, Asgardians, not farmable either, which got them a little knock down, but yeah, these guys could easily be at number 1, guys. So yeah, Asgardians, when they become farmable as well, guys, I would start working on them, at least the characters that are not farmable at this time.
Number 1.
Oh, and the number 1 team, I think once you saw number 2 and 3, I think you guys are fully knowing that the X-Men came in at number 1. Now, this X-Men team, very, very solid from day 1. Phoenix just makes this team, puts this team over the top, and there's word of 2 more characters coming. Cyclops supposed to be coming this patch, so anytime. I don't know when. My speculation is that he'll be a milestone character, and he will make this team a lot better, especially putting Wolverine into that team. And then there's also speculation of Beast to make this team a little more raid viable. But as they stand right now, one of the best war offense teams, if not the best war offense team right now in the game, fully capable of some huge punch ups against some meta teams. Very, very strong. And yeah, Phoenix, maybe Phoenix and Colossus, but they are a staple on Arena right now. Arena defense, Arena offense, and these guys do okay in the raids. I think if you weren't really trying to get Phoenix killed, you could do multiple nodes with them. But if your Phoenix gets killed and Dark Phoenix comes out, they could definitely take on 1 node in many of the raids. Maybe not Ultima 7, maybe some of those earlier nodes, but yeah, I think when Beast comes out, this team is going to be raid viable, and there'll be no doubt at this team at its number 1 spot. All right, guys, so that was the top 10, but there's a lot of other teams out there that are very good, worth building, but not quite in that top 10 spot. So I do want to mention them in case you do want to build some other teams in the background. First one is Hero Brawlers, very, very fun. Miss Marvel, America Chavez are kind of the staples to that team. And then the rest of the Hero Brawlers that you don't really have on another team, they will work very well on that Hero Brawler team. Spider-Verse, good team right now, but kind of mismatched into many different teams. Symbiote Spider-Man looking to bring these guys together, not out in the game yet, but with his tags, it looks like they're trying to make them more raid viable, more Dark Dimension viable as well. So the symbiotes and the rest of the Spider-Verse, very good team. Defenders are very good as well. One of the best early game teams. They kind of fall off a little in the mid game and late game, but still it is a team that you eventually want to invest in if you don't have them. The Kree are okay if you build them up a lot. Wakanda is another good team. They're not the ultimate raid team that they're a build, but they're a very good team. Very fun if you really get Black Panther rolling. And I gotta mention Sinister Six because they're another offshoot of that Spider-Verse team. Very, very good team as well. So there it is, guys. Top 10 teams, Marvel Strike Force for winter of 2020 and the honorable mentions. So did you guys agree with this list? Did you not agree with this list? Let me know in the comments, guys. Now, even if you didn't agree with this, I hope you enjoyed this video anyway, because yes, there are more videos coming. And if you want to see more videos on this channel, make sure you subscribe. At least 4 videos per week on this channel. Hit the notification bell, share this with your friends, guys. There's ways to support the channel. I mentioned BlueStacks, LootCakes earlier in the video. You guys can click on those. There's Valley merch. There's a lot of other cool stuff. And yeah, I'm on social media, guys, so make sure you check me out there, and I will see you guys next time. Hulk fist bump, baby. Valley flying out.